Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of RV Business Capital Talk, sponsored by Eric Sell. I'm Rick Kessler from RV Business, also from RV Business, of course, Sherman Goldenberg. And we're joined by the two very distinguished gentlemen today, starting with Phil Ingrassia. Phil is, of course, with the RV Dealers Association, and his brand new chairman, Larry Troutt III from Toppers RV in Waller, Texas, which is, I believe, the Houston metro area, correct?
Yep, just outside of Houston.
Well, thanks, guys, for joining us on this unseasonably cold day, except for Larry, who's pushing 60, I guess, huh?
Yeah, we're getting up. We started cold this morning, and it's getting up there now.
Well, Larry, let's start off, first of all, just to congratulate your family. Your dad just was announced earlier this week that he's a member of the 2025 Hall of Fame induction class.
hmm
Congratulations.
Absolutely, thank you. He wasn't expecting it. He didn't know we were fighting for that one. He didn't know we were fighting for the JB Summers Award either. So he doesn't expect any of these things, but he's very humbled by all of it. That's for sure. So.
Yeah, Larry was chairman at a very key time at RVDA. We were going down through the downturn in 2008, 2009, 2010, and with Larry's guidance and the guidance of the board at that time, we were able to navigate and all the ups and downs and came out of it as a stronger organization. Uh, Larry's dad was also Convention Expo Committee chairman and started putting in some improvements that we've carried forward and gave us a good base to build that event out. And just a real key part of the history of RVDA and well deserved to be in the Hall of Fame.
Uh, Interesting moment now. Larry just elected chair, and what in the big picture of life is quite a moment for the U.S. economy, and for 2025 on our dashboard here. What how do things look for RVDA? Let's start there for 2025.
It's going to be a fun year. We're working on a lot of stuff. Obviously, we're going to continue the RETC efforts with that started with Wilkins. That's always a big fight with those guys. I was looking at Dad's speech back in '08, and he was talking about part synchronization. Obviously, that's something we're working real hard on with Gary over at, well, not at Cummins anymore, but we know. So that's something we're trying to get nailed on. And we were just at a CEO forum in Elkhart December, and he laid out a few things for us. And Jason Lippert was in that meeting. We had some heavy hitters in there, and it looks like we're making some positive progress there. One of the things I'm trying to focus on is how do we get the engagement up? We have a really good membership base, but only 20% of us show up to the convention. So that's what I like to work on right now is trying to get more people there and getting them to understand that it's not just Vegas, it's the whole thing. You got the expo out there with everybody showing off all the new stuff. You got the seminars with everything that we do with those and the topics and it's just so in tune with what we're going through. I always told the board we need immediate gratification as dealers, and that's we're waiting and getting those topics in those seminars so late that it's because that way we want it to be right in tune with what's going on right in the moment. And that's what we're trying to focus on there is just getting that engagement up and getting these dealers to understand that we have a lot of stuff to get done in Vegas, not just parties and all that, but that's a big part of it too is networking. A lot of us will be in Denver next week for the Stag show, NTP show. I've never been to that thing. It's be my first time going because I had a parts manager that did it for me for a long time. And now I'm going to take a new parts manager there, and that's going to be part of our plan is get out and see people, meet people, and teach this guy how to network and procure relationships with these guys and get better deals basically. So but yeah, the engagement is a lot of my focus on top of all the advocacy issues we have as well. We just had Titus and Yakum introduce the bill there, and then Phil can go over some of the California stuff we're dealing with there too. But Yeah, the engagement has been a big thing for me. Seeing the number at 20% that actually involve themselves in the convention and the surveys we do is the same number. It's about 20% involvement there as well. Is I just want more people to do more stuff and take advantage of what RVDA has to offer because it's a vast vault of anything out there that you could need. So
Phil,
Bill, yeah, go ahead. Go
I was
ahead.
going to just insert real quick, Phil, before you talk about some of the California issues. Larry just mentioned Rudy Ackham and the Titus legislation. Bring us up to speed on that. Could that has to do with floor plan financing, correct?
Right. In the Tax Cut and Jobs Act of 2017, certain dealers over a certain annual sales volume can't fully deduct travel trailer floor plan interest. They can deduct motorhome interest, and it's not fair. It's the only vehicle with a license plate really that you can't deduct the interest on a floor plan, fully deduct it. So this is a bill that was introduced last year by the same co-sponsors. They reintroduced it right off the bat this year, and so that's going to be one of our key advocacy issues, along with our partners at RVIA, to get that fixed. And we are going to need dealers to get engaged in that. So our members will be hearing more about that as the new Congress takes hold, and it will probably be here, sometime this spring when that tax reform legislation moves, and we're going to have to get our topic there attached to that. And it's been a big issue, and we've just got to get it fixed this time. It's a great opportunity to do it.
Okay, okay. And then go ahead with California because you were just in some meetings.
Yeah, the Cal RVDA is in the middle of getting reorganized, which is great news for the industry. And I was on a call with them this week, and a couple things came up is that CARB is California Air Resources Board has put in emissions rules in place that could impact the availability of motorhomes. It's been out there that it's a ban and all this. Well, that's not quite exactly right. It eventually could end up um, impacting the availability of motorized RVs in the state, but there's a concerted effort to make sure that that doesn't happen. And so they backed off some of their heavy truck emissions requirements just this week, and we'll see where that goes down the road. And then the other thing that happened this week was, in response to the wildfires and the terrible devastation in Los Angeles, the mayor there has now put out an edict that people that are rebuilding their homes can put RVs on their property for 3 years, or as long as they have a valid building permit, whichever is longer. So, we don't know how exactly that's all going to play out for the RV industry yet, but at least that's going to be an option for those homeowners who have property and they want to be on the property and manage whatever rebuilding efforts are going to go on. So the dealers are in Southern California are poised and ready to help those impacted homeowners to get their lives back together. And so we'll see how that works out. But that was another kind of a big news day, big news item that popped this week.
Phil, is that a FEMA situation?
Well, I'm sure, FEMA, we've seen this movie again and again, and Larry's been involved with it as well. First they assess what the situation is and they try to, get people in temporary housing, but then longer term, you know, what happens? And that's where FEMA could come in and provide trailers or access to trailers or motorized. We don't know yet what's going to happen. Usually it's trailers. But Larry's been through that in the flood zones in Houston, and certainly with Katrina, and it's kind of a staged event, and it can take several months before the full impact of what FEMA is going to do on the ground is.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
I can guarantee you the bigger dealers are having conversations right now. Usually how this works is when we get a hurricane through here or we get a big flood through here, there's some guys that have connections in those offices, and that's typically where those go. But for me, the size I am, I wouldn't be focused on FEMA at all. I'd be focused on individuals. The individuals are acting now, and that's what's there. I guarantee you they're already selling trailers right now on that thing, and delivering them for them, because there's people that have never thought to buy an RV. They're buying an RV right now. And then we're going to get them back. We're going to get them back in on trade. So from a dealer perspective, getting these people housing right away is the key. And from my perspective, what I would be doing is advertising on that right away. I'd already be doing it. I guarantee you some already are. But I usually would sell more to individuals than I would to FEMA. FEMA would come at me with like a 30 pack or something like that, and it just wouldn't be worth it for me. I'd rather save those 30 units for individuals that are local to me, and get them those as quick as possible, because the FEMA thing just gets kind of drug out, and there's nothing wrong with helping those guys at all, but they're looking for 100 packs, and that's something that I wouldn't be able to fulfill with my size. So we try and focus on the individuals. I'm sure some of those dealers up there, like I said, they're already selling trailers to those folks. They're gonna have trailers and driveways for a long time. So it's unfortunate, but it's we're able to help those people as quick as possible. Usually we're the quickest option for that kind of disaster. So
Right. And I did talk to the Campground Owners Association this week, Outdoor Hospitality Association California, Diana Kelly, and she said her members are in the Coachella Valley area are seeing a lot of people come in, that Palm Springs area. They're it's a quick drive to LA, so not a quick drive, but it's accessible. So a lot of people went out to the desert and are staying out there too. So, again, a tragic situation, but the dealers and the campgrounds are doing what they can to help those people find temporary emergency housing.
Very
yeah,
good.
I guarantee you they're ready. I bet the stocking will get really low in that area of the country here pretty soon. So it's just because of where we were at with, we all get the retail shipping numbers, those are going up. But they're going up because dealers are stocking again. We weren't the last 2 years we've been focused on getting rid of aged. So as a whole, you're going to see those shipping numbers go up. But the retail numbers will probably remain about the same, because we're all willing to, with interest rates going down, we're also willing to hold more. Interest rates go up, obviously we're not going to hold as much because not many of us own our own inventory. So
Right.
If we look at the wider picture of the U.S. and Canadian markets, is it premature to ask you, both of you, what you see for 2025, and where things are headed?
I think I think personally for us, we're going to do a 6 month budget. So like we got our budget guy coming in next week. We're going to do 6 months, and we're going to reassess in July, and go from there for the year. As far as the industry as a whole, being in that meeting in Elkhart in early December was very encouraging to hear what the bigger guys in the room had to say. The generals, the fun towns, they were all there. The blue compasses, they were all in the room. And the theme was cautiously optimistic. And I think we've heard that before. Once we get out of these things, we kind of want to we all want to hit the gas, but we know we can't yet, because we just have to see what's gonna happen here. I've heard dealers say as much as 20% increases. I just don't see that happening. I see in that 5 to 10 range. Um, but what I see is volume remaining the same, and revenue going up, because we're just simply not giving units away anymore.
Mm.
We're all, I feel the majority of the dealer body has the inventory flipped, where their aged is not the main source of the inventory. It's all 24s and 25s now. Um, so that's good for us. The competition of selling is out there again. We're not just order takers anymore. So we're having to teach everybody how to sell again. That's something I mentioned in the article coming up, I think. And but yeah, it's cautiously optimistic. I for sure can tell you revenue will go up. I'm just concerned about what volume's going to do. So I've set my dealership up here to run on very little front end gross, and just kind of, ground and pound, basically just get the deals as many as we can and run with them and get them out of here as quick as possible. So competition's going to be fierce this year. I know that. So
So Larry, are you looking at a healthy margin return?
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, I think with revenue, we learned how to deal with single digits on the front end gross, and we're trying to make our money all on the back end now. Fixed op is a main source of income now as well. Parts, especially, we're all starting to realize how big parts is as far as, nationally. Drop shipping stuff to people. Whatever they need. The it's not that the manufacturers don't want to work with these people. It's just that the dealers can get to it faster. So yeah, we need all four departments hitting hard, and that's the focus here. I do see a better year. I see 26 being the year that we're able to do something. Because it's got to take a year for this administration to get in there and make the changes we need. Selfishly in Houston, drill baby drill. As soon as that starts happening here, Houston's going to be successful. I'm not, that's just how it is here. We're energy and all that. My wife's in that too, so they're all bracing for a big year. They actually had the company she's at. They had a record year this year or in 24, and they're bracing for another record year in 25. So, and that was with restrictions. So
Okay.
25, they shouldn't have restrictions. So we'll see how that goes. And getting that pipeline fired back up is going to help us out a lot. So, and that goes all the way up there. So, it's selfishly in Houston, it should be a good thing in 26, I feel. But right now, I just can't say we're gonna bang it out in 25. It's just not, I can't say that. I think we all need to cautiously optimistic and roll with the punches for one more year.
Okay.
Bill, can you add to that?
Well, I think Larry makes a great point in the dealers that I've been talking to. And, what taking the long view is dealers that pay attention to all facets of revenue streams, new units, used unit sales, parts and accessory sales, F&I department. Those are the successful dealers that can make it through whatever the economic environment is. And we've seen that again and again through various downturns. And I do think that, especially when we're looking at the fixed operation side of the house, that is going to be more dealers are focusing on that. I think you're going to see that at the NTP Stag show. It's we have to service these customers. We've still got a pandemic, buying bubble there of people that are now going to be coming out of warranty if they're not already, and there's going to be more customer pay for those folks, and so that's going to be a real revenue driver for a lot of dealerships. And I'm really happy to see that manufacturers, suppliers, everybody's working together more than they ever have on that fixed operations side of the house. And of course, at RVDA, we're trying to train, make available accessible training for those fixed operations people. We've got, warranty administrator training online now, parts manager training, parts specialist or parts clerk training, as well as service writer advisor training. And in the first quarter of this year, we're going to be launching service manager online training. So we're going to have all 5 of those positions set up, ready to train. And of course, then we've got the RVTI working very, very hard as well on the technician side. So the industry's really pulling together on that side of the house, which it needs to do. And as Larry said, same issues, 15 years ago that his dad was dealing with. Well, we're starting to really see some activity there to push the industry forward.
There was pardon me, Rick, but there was a mention, and maybe I overlooked it here, of a member hotline. Is that something that's up and running or going to be?
Right. Last
Yep.
month we have a member hotline. It's really what we call as a member resource center. And so if dealers need us, they can just go on the website or text us and we'll get you the information. We've always done that, but it's been more informal. Now dealers can go right on a portal, put in their information, we'll get back to them. We're really just starting this. It's going to take a while to get some traction, but it's just another way to serve members and get them the information they need.
I think
But
also, Phil, the other thing to add on that is that we're not just going to be taking care of that individual dealer's problems. We're going to be helping that dealer, but we're also going to let the membership know what that dealer dealt with anonymously, of course, and then, how we solve that issue. So that way, if it's happening to somebody else, they can get an alert right away, compliance alert, whatever we want to call it, and move on. And it's probably going to help somebody in the membership as well.
yeah, absolutely. Sharing information that's as appropriate with members is what RVDA does all the time, whether it's day-to-day basis and member services or through the convention or webinars or whatever it is. Um, you know, I think one of the things that this board is investing back into member services, and that's appropriate. That's what we're here to do.
I want to, oh, go ahead, Sherm.
Well, I think we ought to be on the proverbial home stretch here, looking at my clock, but go ahead.
Well, that's where I was headed to. And just to take one more step into the state of the market, as we're recording this, the Tampa show, the Florida RV Super Show, is on its second day. Cautiously optimistic was the vibe. That was our headline in today's story. Larry, you've got your show coming up, but what are you guys hearing from other dealers who have had shows already?
Yeah, we've had a few shows down here in Texas already. The consensus is attendance is down 10 to 12% ish, and sales are holding steady, if not up. So I guess we're weeding out the tire kickers and we're getting buyers at these shows. You know, what the gate cost is, what parking cost is, I'm sure has a lot to do with that. In Houston, we have a big parking cost. We're trying to lower the gate there. Our show's in the middle of February. It'll be Valentine's weekend. We'll get our fifth day back, so we're expecting a pretty good turnout. We should get a bump in attendance just for having the extra day. Um, we we're looking to get 15,000 people at that show. This year is what I would expect. So yeah, it's usually a Friday, Saturday, Sunday show anyway. But we noticed that through COVID where the attendance was dropping on the shows and the buyers were coming out, and that's what was happening. So, I think we need to just be thankful that we can sell at these things still, because the auto industry can't do that. And it creates a great competition, and that's what we love is the competition and coming out on top. But yeah, I'm looking at good show numbers right now. We aren't happy with the attendance numbers, but as long as the sales keep up, then you're still happy with shows. So
Phil?
Yeah, we're right kind of in the early stages of that. So I know everybody's going to be looking at the final numbers from Tampa and things like that. But I mean, you saw an amazing turnout of units, and so I think that shows you that the industry's primed and ready to rock and roll this year, as far as the new units that are on display, responding to the market at attractive, affordable pricing that will really help us move forward here throughout the rest of this year.
So let's close with this. Larry, your show is over Valentine's weekend. I can't think of a better gift for anybody's spouse.
yeah, right.
Jewelry, whatever, chocolate. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe a little bit, but come on, man. RVing?
Let's get an RV. Yeah. Let's get them out there.
Gentlemen, thank you again.
We appreciate it, man.
Hey,
Thank
thanks
you.
for the opportunity.
Great talking to you guys.